Okay, so the topic that I'm going to discuss is about adding and subtracting radical expression. After these lessons, the students will be able to define like and unlike radical expression, state the rule in adding and subtracting radical expression, add and subtract radical expression, and solve problems involving addition and subtraction of radical expression. Adding and subtracting radical expression. Radical expression can be classified as like radicals or unlike radicals. If the radical expressions have the same index and radicand, then they are like radicals. So example, this one. Ito yung example ng isang like radicals. Just because magkapareho yung index and radicand. So ito yung index of the radical and ito yung radicand. So like radicals siya. Example, this one. So as you can see, magkapareho lang yung radicand and index of the radical. So they are like radicals. Are examples of like radicals because they have the same index, which is 3, and the same radicand, which is 2. So ito yung rule. A and n root of x plus b n root of x. So another example, fourth root of 2 and fourth root of 2. 2 fourth root of 2 and 4 fourth root of 2. So as you can see, magkapareho yung index of radical, which is 4, and radicand, which is 2. So to derive that one, all you have to do is we just have to combine the a and b, the real integer. So pag positive yung operation, then we just have to combine a plus b, then i-add natin siya. Pag negative naman, we have to combine the a and b, a minus b, then we have to copy this one. Since magkapareho lang sila, we just have to copy this one. Example, 3 square root of 2 and negative 5 square root of 2. So meaning to say, 3 square root of 2 minus 5 square root of 2. So we just have to combine the real integer. Since the operation is negative, then isubtract natin to. 3 minus 5, then the square root of 2. So we just have to copy this one since magkapareho lang sila. Then the answer is negative 2 square root of 2. Another example, 4 square root of a minus 2 square root of a. So as you can see, pareho lang ang index of the radical and radicand. So we just have, ang gagawin natin, 4 minus 2 plus 7. So 4 minus 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. Because 4 minus 2 is equal to 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. Then we have to copy the radical expression. So this one is the answer. Unlike radicals. Unlike radicals is yung same ang index but different radicands. Same radicands but different index. Example, square root of 2 and square root of 4. So as you can see, magkapareho ang kanilang index of the radicals but magkaiba ang kanilang radicands. Next, 4 and square root of 2 and 4 and square root of 3. So as you can see, magkaiba ang kanilang radicands. Magkapareho lang dito is yung kanilang index of the radical. Another example, cube root of 7x and square root of 7x. So, as you can see, magkapareho ang kanilang radicands, but magkaiba ang kanilang index of the radicals. So, ito yung example. This is the example of unlike radicals. These are the examples of unlike radicals. Express the following. Square root of 18. So how to express this one? First and foremost, we have to factor this one. We have to find the factor of 18. The factor of 18 is 9 times 2. So as you can see, 9 is the perfect squared and 2 is not a perfect squared. The next thing we have to do here is we have to find the factor of 9. Since this number is a perfect squared, we have to find the factor of this. Square root of 9 is 3. And since 2 is not a perfect squared, then square root of 2 will remain like this. This one's the answer. Next, square root of 50. To simplify this one, we have to factor this. We have to factor this one na yung isang factor is a perfect squared, which is 25. 25 times 2 is 50. Square root of 25 is 5. This one's the answer. Next is negative 72. To factor this one, we have to make sure na yung isang factor is a perfect squared, which is 36. Next, we have to find the square root of 36 and negative 6. Then, square root of 2 will remain square root of 2. This one's the answer. Another example. Negative 12 square root of 2 plus 4 square root of 2 plus 7 square root of 2. So, this one is one of the examples of like radicals. The next thing we have to do here is we have to add negative 12 plus 4 plus 7 times the square root of 2. Next is negative 12 plus 4 equals negative 8 plus 7 times the common expression, which is the square root of 2. Negative 8 plus 7 equals negative, then the square root of 2. This one is the answer. Next, 5 cube root of 4 minus 3 cube root of 4 plus 6 cube root of 4. So this one is one of the example of like radicals. Next thing we have to do, since the radicands are the same, we just have to subtract 5 minus 3 plus 6 times the square root of 4. 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. I mean, this is not square root, this is cube root. Plus 6 times the cube root of 4. Next is 2 plus 6 equals 8 times the cube root of 4. This one is the answer. What if kung ito yung given? Merong variables. So what are we going to do? First is we have to find the factor of 12 and 300 and make sure na isa sa mga factors ng 12 is a perfect square. And isa sa mga factors of 300 is a perfect square as well. The next thing we have to do here is kukunin natin yung square root. The factor of 12 is 4 and 4 times 3. 4 times 3 equals 12. Then find the factor of a raised to 3. The factor of a raised to 3 equals a squared times a 1. Bakit ganito? Just because we can just simply subtract this by 1. Okay? Then a 2 plus 1 equals 3. That's why the factor of a raised to 3, ito yan. Next, copy the sign, which is negative. Then find the factor of 300. Factor of 300 is 100 times 3. And ensure na yung isa is a perfect square. Then, factor this one, a raised to 3. Ito yung factor. Because if we're going to multiply is a raised to 2 times a, then we have to add the exponent. Okay? Add exponent. That's why a raised to 3. Next, distribute the radical sign. That's why 4 square root of 4a raised to 2 times square root of 3a. Copy the sign, which is negative. Then distribute the radical sign. Square root of 100a squared times square root of 3a. Next, distribute the radical sign again. Square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2. And the square root of a squared, equals, since the index of the radical and the exponent are the same, then we can just cancel this one and a, ito yung natira. So, that's why natira yung a. Then copy the expression, which is square root of 3a. Bakit copy lang natin? Because this one is already in a simplest form. Next, bring down the sign. Then find the square root of 100. Square root of 100 is 10. Then the square root of a squared is square root of a squared, and cancel. Then ito yung natira. Okay? That's why ito yung natira. Next, bring down the square root of 3a. Bakit square root of 3a hindi siya ma-simplify? Just because, as what I had said before, square root of 3a is already in the simplest form. The next thing we have to do here is, since magkapareho na ang kanilang radicands, we need to add 2a, we need to subtract 2a minus 10a. 2a minus 10a equals negative 8a. Then copy the expression, which is square root of 3a. This one's the answer. Another example. This one is one of the examples of unlike radicals. To answer this one, you need to find the factor of 20, 24, 80, and 54. And make sure that na yung isa sa kanilang mga factors is a perfect squared. Okay, so factor of 20, 4 times 5. Then copy this one, minus 3, then factor of 24, which is 4 times 6. Copy the sign, factor of 80, 36 times 5. Copy the sign, copy the 2, then factor of 54 is 9 times 6. Then we need to distribute the radical sign. Okay, this one, distribute the radical sign. And distribute the radical sign, this one. Next is distribute the radical sign. The next thing we have to do is we need to find the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2. That's why automatic na siya dito. Next, since square root of 5 is already in the simplest form, then just bring down the square root of 5. Then bring down negative 3. Then square root of 4 is 2. Then, ito na yun. Then simply 3 times 2. Then bring down the square root of 6, since the square root of 6 is already in the simplest form, plus square root of 36 is 6. Then bring down the square root of 5. Next, this one is multiply. Bring down the negative 2. Then square root of 9 is 3. Okay. Then bring down the square root of 6, since square root of 6 is already in the simplest form. Next thing we have to do is we have to multiply 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is equals 8. Bring down 5. Minus 3 times 2 equals 6. Bring down square root of 6 plus 6. Bring down the square root of 5 minus 2 times 3 is equals 6. Then bring down the square root of 6. Next, if we need to add or combine the like terms, since magkapareho yung square root of 5 dito, so ito yung i-add natin. 8 plus 6. Then copy the common expression, which is square root of 5. Plus 6, negative 6. This one is negative. Negative 6 minus 6. Then copy the common expression, which is square root of 6. 8 plus 6 equals 14. Bring down the common expression. Plus positive and negative. Negative 6 minus 6 equals negative 12. Then bring down the common expression, which is 6. This one is the answer. Next, sagutan nyo to. Pagkatapos nyo tong sagutan, ilagay nyo sa comments yung answer. And I will check it. Okay, thank you very much for watching.